everyone, and welcome to Pearls of Fisdom with Nirmal. I'm Avan Labash. I'm sure that all of the latest data is pointing to the fact that people are traveling and how. Airports are busy, staycations are on the rise, and people are out and about. And most likely that a lot of you are making your bookings via Yatra.com. So let's understand how business is shaping up, what the latest acquisition plans have been, what the outlook is when it comes to financials. Joining in right now is Dhruv Shringi. He's the co-founder and CEO at Yatra.com. Thank you so much for taking time out. So give us a sense, what is it looking like when it comes to just the travel momentum? People seem to be taking trips left, right and center, be it corporate, luxury. Have you noticed that 2024 has been different?
Hi, and good afternoon to you. So, in terms of the demand side, we've seen strong demand be there. In fact, the industry recovered quite strongly coming out of COVID for the last 2 years. But off late, what we've noticed, and this is maybe more so in the last 6 months or so, is that supply side constraints are now beginning to pinch. We've got airport infrastructure constraints in places like Mumbai and to a certain extent in Delhi. We've got over the course of the last 12 months, one airline which has gone under. We've got another one which is operating at a limited capacity right now. So there is a certain amount of supply side constraint that's hitting the industry. And the effect of that is that we are seeing prices creeping up, and that is then leading to demand beginning to temper off a little bit. So I think that's the key challenge right now. I don't think there is overall dearth of demand in the industry at the right price point. Consumers, as you said, everyone wants to travel. There is staycations, there is vacations, there is alongside business trips you want to take on other activities. So there is a lot of that which is happening, but supply needs to also keep pace, and we are today seeing a situation in India where there is a supply side constraint. In terms of the impact of the same on our business, there are two parts to our business. We've got the consumer part, which is under Yatra.com, and then we've got the enterprise part under Yatra for Business. The consumer part is being a little bit more affected by this because, as you can imagine, price sensitivity on the B2C consumer side is a bit higher than corporate travelers. So there we are seeing some slowdown. On the enterprise side, beyond one category, which is the IT services customers, all other categories continue to grow quite strongly. And that is reflected in the underlying economy itself also being strong. We've seen historically business travel growing at anywhere between 1.5 to 2x of GDP growth. So we continue to see that kind of growth, at least from an overall industry point of view. If I just look at it from a broad perspective, there'll be pockets which are faster, pockets which are slower, but at least at an overall aggregate level, we continue to see that kind of growth rate.
So is that in any way then impacting your overall outlook? What's the sense when it comes to air ticketing margins?
The air ticketing margin on the B2C side, we think margins will maybe remain where they are or maybe come off slightly, maybe 20, 30 basis points kind of cooling off in terms of air ticketing margins. On the enterprise side, we don't see any change. There, we continue to see strong margins playing out.
All right, let's come to the recent news as well with the acquisition of the Global All India Services, Krishna Forgings, that was for about 128 crore rupees. How is this really going to bolster the corporate business? How do you plan to drive your inorganic growth via this acquisition?
Sure. So what we've done is we've acquired 100% of Globe Travels from RK Forging. And for us, this is a very interesting and important acquisition. It gives us firstly a strong base in eastern part of India where we were till now relatively small. So it gives us a platform to expand into the eastern part of India. The other thing which is there is that Globe has been one of the strongest players in the country on the meetings and incentives part of the business, so the MICE industry. The acquisition along with our organic efforts on the MICE front will make Yatra one of the largest players in the MICE category in India. And MICE is a very fast growing category, as you would have seen, and has also very strong margins. So we are quite excited about this acquisition. The other thing which is also of note is that the combined purchasing power, or at least the kind of take rates that Yatra will have, the deals that we would have with the airlines, hotels, and GDS service providers, will allow us to enhance the margins at Globe as well, because Globe still is relatively small compared to Yatra. So being able to plug in the Yatra supply will help enhance margins and improve profitability further at Globe.
All right, that sounds good. And just to talk a little bit more about, the kind of, I believe you secure 34 new corporate customer accounts. What is the kind of online billing potential, or rather annual billing potential that you see on the back of this?
Yeah, so we continue to make strong inroads on the corporate customer acquisition front. Our endeavor at a company level, at least, is to get to a stage where we are acquiring between 125 to 150 customers per annum, with aggregate billing potential of upwards of 700 crores. So we continue to remain focused on that. There will be some quarterly cyclicality in that, but at least on an annual basis, that's what we are targeting.
Give us a sense. I believe that given that one of the country's largest airlines, Indigo, was offering deeply discounted fares on their website, their mobile app, did that really force you guys as well to alter the pricing? What kind of an impact does it have for a company like Yatra?
Yeah, I think that is one of the key challenges that we are looking at on the B2C side of things. We have seen this play out over the course of the last now almost 8-9 months. This started in a more gradual manner in the month of January, has only gained more traction from there on with regards to what Indigo's been doing. So our take on that is that we have to find avenues to partner with them in maybe more different manners. Maybe the rules of engagement change to a certain extent, but as a B2C company, it does have an impact where there's limited supply, and one of the suppliers is promoting a particular price point that's not available across the country or across any other distribution partner. So that continues to remain a key challenge, and that's also part of the reason why we are accelerating our growth rate on the corporate side of things. We were, when we went public, talking about a more gradual change in our business mix between B2C and corporate. But seeing these kinds of macro trends, we were decided to accelerate our efforts to move more and more towards the corporate business at an even faster pace.
So, would that explain why maybe there was a bit of a cost-cutting initiative as well taken by Yatra?
That's right. So again, as I said, both the businesses are facing slightly different dynamics. The B2C is facing a different dynamic from a competitive pressure point of view versus the enterprise side. So keeping that in mind, we've taken some steps to optimize cost on the B2C side. Yeah.
Let's move right on because going down the line, what's the outlook when it comes to strategic opportunities? Is it going to be organically? Is it going to be via more acquisitions that you guys are looking at?
So we'll continue to grow on the corporate side, both organically and inorganically. Our endeavor is to double our corporate business over the course of the next 3 years. And to achieve that, it will be a combination of both organic and inorganic.
And if we were to talk about what the outlook is when it comes to your operational performance, how is that expected to shape up over the coming years, given the kind of concerns and challenges as well that you've flagged off?
Yeah. See, as we move towards, the enterprise part of our business becoming more and more in terms of the overall mix, right? And as I said, if you look at doubling that, we should be at about a 70-30 kind of a mix between enterprise and B2C. We'll see our margins also tend, closer towards the 15 to 20% kind of margin mark, which is the threshold that we've defined for ourselves in a 3-year period.
And what is the outlook on the hotel business margins? How are they shaping up?
So hotels continue to do really well. We are coming off in a period where our MICE teams have done extremely well. We continue to gain new customer wins as well on the hotel platform. So hotels will grow at a faster pace than the overall business. And margins on hotels continue to remain robust. We are seeing take rates on the hotel side also remain stable. So unlike air, where there is compression of supply, on the hotel side, we are seeing supply beginning to ease off a little bit. So take rates on hotel continue to remain stable. So if I look at this, there'll be two key trends driving our business. One will be the change in mix towards enterprise, and the other will be increasing adoption of hotels.
And what is the kind of gross debt that you have, and what's the cash on your books right now?
So the cash on our books before the acquisition was about 440 crores, and our gross debt was about 21 crores. So, we are fairly well staffed when it comes to the balance sheet.
All right, and you've also got a very innovative approach, I believe, to delivering a personalized experience. There's Yuva, which is Yatra Universal Virtual Assistant.
Yeah.
So it looks like you guys are really leveraging technology to the max. Tell us more. How does this work?
Yeah. See, both on the enterprise and the consumer side, what we've realized is that the kind of things today that AI solutions can do are pretty phenomenal. Right? The rate of change that we are seeing, the rate of improvement that we are seeing in all the underlying AI technology tools is quite impressive. And we are working with partners like Google in terms of building out some of these innovative solutions that can help streamline the customer's experience. See, one of the challenges that happens in any industry, right, not just ours, which is people dependent to a certain extent. There is variance in terms of service that gets provided by individuals. The beauty of technology is that technology standardizes the service. It still can't do the exception handling, and you need people to step in when it's time for exception handling. But at least the baseline service can be delivered very seamlessly using some of the new technology tools which are there. Yuva's one attempt at that. We've also got an expense management solution that we went live with a short while back. That tool also uses large language models to read customers' receipts, to be able to account for them correctly, be able to accurately assess the nature of the spend, and all of that categorization that companies need to do. Right. So there are multiple areas in which technology is being used right now to streamline operational efficiency and improve the customer experience.
And finally, Dhruv, it's a competitive world. It's dog eats dog. There's still a lot of potential. I'm sure there's stressful days. If I could just understand some pearls of wisdom that you could share, being at the helm of a company that is projected to do so well.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's a hyper competitive industry. One has to constantly innovate to stay ahead. But I think, my one pearl of wisdom, at least, is to make sure that you're focused on servicing your customer well. Because it's very easy to get lost in the hype of the new technology, get lost in the hype of high valuations. But if you're not doing the fundamental things well, sooner or later, all these other things catch up with you, right? So keep your eye on the ball. This is a time where I think a lot of entrepreneurs and founders tend to get distracted as they go through their journey. So it's very important to keep your eye on the ball and focus on the core reason for your existence, right? So if our existence is dependent on providing a great service to our customers, a technology enabled service, that's what we need to be focused on. Everything else around us, the hype will come and go. But if your underlying business is strong, everything will remain in place.
All right, good to know. Thanks very much, Dhruv, and wishing you all the very best for the future. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My pleasure.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from Nirmal Bang.